Hey, welcome to episode number 26 of the Live It Full podcast. I'm Richard. I've got Caitlin in the Live It Full studio, which is also tonight our bedroom. Again, like last week I said, where the magic happens. And she rolled her eyes again. And for those of you not familiar with MTV Cribs, you need to go check that out. That may be a generational thing for us. But hey, we wanted to talk a little bit because by the time this airs, we will actually be hopefully on a beach somewhere, undisclosed. If you follow us on Facebook or Instagram, you'll probably see it later. But we want to talk about a couple things because there's a few things that popped into my head about what you do because we travel a lot. It's kind of our unofficial fifth part of our ethos of faith, family, finance, and fitness. We think that you can only do 4 or 5 things well in life if you focus on those. If you don't, you're mediocre at kind of everything. Well, we're pretty good at traveling, just being honest. I mean, we have some systems down. We have some things that work for us.
Thanks, Tim.
Oh, 100% thanks to Caitlin, because I'm the guy who used to pack a pair of underwear in a backpack. I'm good for the weekend. Got my toothbrush and a clean pair of underwear. And she'd be like, "Are you really not taking an extra pair of clothes? Like t-shirt." Those days have changed. But we have traveled all over the world with young children. We've traveled domestically, internationally. We RV. And so I feel like we may be subject matter experts at this point of traveling with a family. So I think that we wanted to talk about that and a little bit about a fitness check-in because I think it's about time for that as well. But also, how do you keep doing your fitness routine while you're on vacation? Because obviously, it's easy to say, well, I'm just not going to do it because I'm out of town. But there's things that you can still do to help mitigate that. And I think proper planning goes a long way.
Definitely. I was just telling Richard, okay, so when's the last time we did our fitness talk? And I was just starting a 5-week program. It's maybe been a month and a half or 2 months.
Probably 5 or 6 weeks ago, maybe 7.
Yeah, I bet it's been 2 months because I'm like week 2 or 3 into the next one. Anyways, from there, I believe I still had like 10 to 15 pounds to lose maybe from my baby weight that I had gained. And I have a 5-month-old. She'll be 6 months old at the end of this month. And I've lost it. So 8 weeks later, I'm about 1 pound, 1 to 2 above where my pre-pregnancy weight was. Having said that, though, I'm in my mid-30s now, and I was 3 kids in. Now I'm 4 kids in. So pre-pregnancy was still probably a place that I wasn't super comfortable with. So although I'm pre-pregnancy weight at this point, I probably still have a little bit to go. I mean, I'm not too concerned about it, but it's probably the quickest I think that I've maybe ever lost it, and I think
been more intentional with your weight loss
it's definitely
effort.
been more intentional.
And I think that that's an important part of it. Now, I will give the disclaimer that I think you're perfect regardless of where you are. Caitlin and I don't focus on pounds as much as we do how our clothes fit and how we feel.
Yeah.
And so I'm down enough weight this year that my knee doesn't hurt. Now, I know the weight. I know how many pounds it is. I've lost probably 15, and I was wanting to drop 25 or so to get back to kind of our college weight.
So we still maybe have each 10 pounds to go.
Yeah, you've worked a little bit harder, and I've done more strength training as well. That does not always lend to shedding pounds, and I'm going to put on muscle. So it's a battle of as you put on muscle to keep losing body fat. But
now the 2 things that I have focused on that have, helped because here I am. And the reason that I'm talking pounds is because you go to the doctor every other flipping week, the whole pregnancy. So you know darn well what you weigh.
Well, it's what we measure. It is what we measure things on.
Yeah, but specifically just talking pregnancy for me. But anyway, iFit, and I've spoken about this before, but that is incredible. And I was like sad. Like it hurt my heart to get rid of my last 2 trainers because like you kind of like learn to love them and you get used to their fitness style. And so when it was my last workout with those 2, it was kind of like, I'm not going to like the other one as much, but I'm getting used to him too. So
And see, I use iFit as well with our rower. And the cool thing is there's a lot of things you can do with it. And they're not sponsoring us yet. But I'm going to keep talking about it until maybe they do, because I believe in promoting products that we do actually use. I would never do that for anything we don't, even if they were trying to pay me. We do like iFit. I think there's probably other programs out there that Peloton or some of these other companies do that may be comparable.
It's the same principle.
It is. But the point is, do something that has some accountability. And if y'all can hear, in our studio, we have Mia Catherine with us, who woke up from her nap. We do try to multitask here. We keep it real. We're not going to edit it out and act like it didn't happen unless she gets real out of control. But I think that the point with the iFit, though, is that it does keep you accountable. There's an app on your phone. It can really help you manage the accountability side of working out. I had a friend the other day put something on Facebook, and I'll call him out on it, just saying that he was trying to get you to use his personal trainer, which I think is a great guy, and he has great programs. But he was saying, you buy all this at-home gym equipment and you don't use. Well, we do, though. And part of that is because iFit works for us. It may not for everybody, and that's okay. But for us, it does. Now, you like your trainers on there. It seems like when I row, I don't run because my knees hurt after years of abuse. And probably being 20 or 30 pounds heavy and abusing them. But the guys who do the rowing are all like British, German, Swedes. They're interesting guys. They're all much smaller than I am in general. But I have a long pull in that regard. So my rowing stroke actually is pretty efficient.
Mm-hmm. The nice thing, though, about the trainers that I work with is, I guess they have some sort of kinesiology and or nutrition background or something, because they really tie like the scientific aspects to working out in. And the one that I'm doing now is a running workout. And I've never been a runner, and I think my knees could hurt too. But I think people's problem is when they try to get into running, is they just start trying, like, I'm just going to start running. I'm going to run a mile, or I'm going to run 2 miles. And they weren't ready for that. And so this guy
just jumping out and pounding the pavement, so to speak, probably isn't the best physiological thing for you.
No, because your muscles haven't been micro torn and then been able to rebuild and strengthen. And
it's why you shouldn't run with puppies. I mean, I know that from dog training, because they say you really shouldn't. Like, I can go run with Molly right now, my German Shorthair, who's in fabulous shape, obviously, because she's a bird dog, and can run miles. But you shouldn't till they're 12 to 14 months old, because you can hurt their long bone development.
Yeah. So some of that, and just the hormones and where certain things are stored in your body, and reaching anaerobic fitness.
You've been doing a lot talking about, like, even like they talk about cortisol and those kind of things, that if you're stressing your body out 5 times a week, that sometimes it's counterproductive because of stress hormones.
Yeah. In fact, there's sort of like these mandatory breaks. They're usually only between 4 and 5 workouts a week. And they're like, okay, see you back. You need to go eat carbs, and you need to do, have your rest, active rest. Maybe you go for a little walk. And they'll talk about this ligament tension and all of that kind of thing. So anyway, that's always interesting to hear about as you're working out, kind of like what's really happening inside your body.
And you have a bachelor's in kinesiology.
Yeah.
So you do have a background where you understand these things, and you would probably be ahead of that anyways.
Right.
But it is nice to get reinforcement on that. And I think that's the deal. I mean, for $40 a month or whatever it costs us for a family membership, we're getting somewhat personalized training the way that we want it. And there's some accountability there. My phone pops up and it's like, you didn't row today. I'm like, nope, didn't. I better go do that. So we like iFit because there's some accountability there. So while we're on vacation, what do? Well, you just have to figure some things out, because you can still be active. I think the biggest issue for me personally on vacation isn't the level of activity, because we're beachy people and we're mountain people, but we're generally pretty active, and you strap this kiddo who's sitting with us right now on your chest. She's a solid 20 pounds. It's like wearing a weighted vest and an ergo.
Well, especially with 4 kids. I mean, we're gonna be activity heavy the whole time.
Yeah. So where my issue is eating things that I wouldn't normally eat on a weekly basis or a daily basis at home. So that's where I'm careful. But what's great about what we've been doing lately with Icon Meals, which is a friend of mine was actually one, I think, the first investors in that company, or one of the initial ones that helped out, and knows the founder. And so that's one that I went to because it's a local Texas company. But there's a lot of companies out there, but they make fresh food for you and they mail it to your house, and it's like $10-12 a meal. Which, yes, you can meal prep cheaper than that for the people who are going to point that out to me. I've had a few do it, and I totally get that. And if it was a financial decision, I would meal prep on Sundays, but it's a time issue for me. And so, but what's funny is you get used to looking at that. So this week we did keto-friendly lunches. So they were lower carb, and the carbs you did get were primarily from some cauliflower. So still complex carbs. I think one of them was brisket and cheesy cauliflower. One was Philly cheesesteak without any bread, just meat, onions, mushrooms. It was really good. And then the other one was chicken, club chicken, some bacon, and tasted like club without bread. But you start. Here's where I'm telling you, got to be, when you're cognizant of these things, it makes such a difference, because I'm looking at these are anywhere from 350 to 500 calories. Even the high protein ones that aren't, that have a few more carbs that we do sometimes, they're still in that calorie range. So for lunch, if you can do that, you kind of know. I had breakfast that was 300 or 400 calories. I had lunch that was 300 to 500. I've got 1,000 calories left for the rest of the day on a 2,000 calorie diet. Now I know you try to stick more like 1,500 calories a day, and I'm probably more 2,500 to 3,000 when I'm working out.
I haven't been counting calories, and I refuse to cut a whole group out of my diet. Now I have been eating the keto friendly ones, but I'm never going to be like self-proclaimed keto person.
No. I did it to shake it up this week, just so we had less carbs. Next week I'll go back to the with more carbs.
The keto options, but just because we eat keto friendly at lunch doesn't necessarily mean we're going to.
Yeah, and I'm big on changing up your routine, because I think anytime that you can plateau, you should change things. And so, I mean, I'm big on, I haven't done it in a while, but when I was doing like bulletproof diet type stuff, which is pretty keto friendly, it's high fat, high protein, high complex carbs. But on Fridays, you did a protein fast. All you had were complex carbs all day, which changes, your body doesn't get used to stuff. So I just thought we would try the keto friendly ones. But the point I'm going to go there is, we went out to eat for lunch yesterday at a restaurant, which not all restaurants, I know some states it's like law that you have calorie counts on everything. Texas, I don't think it is, because not all restaurants do. But we were at a local restaurant that had calories listed on the menu, and I'm sitting there going,
It literally changed the direction that we ordered.
Oh, 100%, because I'm looking at some of these things that are like 1,500 calories for this meal from just me.
Yeah.
And so you're like, oh, hell no, I can't do that. Like, I worked out to not eat that,
I ended up eating shrimp, and he had a steak, but
I had an 8-ounce sirloin, which I would have normally probably gone with a ribeye. But when I saw the calorie difference, I had a sirloin, rice, and broccoli. It's like 600-700 calories, but I was full.
Yeah.
And I was good. I was happy with it.
Yeah. They were different choices than we would have made, probably, if the calories weren't right there by each meal.
Or if we hadn't been thinking about it some in what we're doing. When God, it's demoralizing when you go work out for an hour and you burn 600 calories, and you go look at something and you're like, that's 600 calories. Yeah. I mean, do you know what a bloomin' onion, how many calories is in it at Outback?
But who eats the whole bloomin' onion?
4,000. I read that one day. Well, I got pretty close a couple times in college. I hadn't been to Outback in a while, but
no, my main thing, because I love a good, rich, decadent meal. I like butter, and there's nothing wrong with butter, by the way.
Grass-fed butter. Kerrygold from Ireland is some great stuff.
Yeah, I love foods that are rich in cream and all of that were probably high-calorie meals, but it's portion size. It's portion size for me, and I know that I can eat sort of not however I want, but within reason, as long as I don't overdo it. And so that's really what I'm going to try to focus on vacation, because I mean, we're going to go out to eat for sure. We love seafood, and we're going to a beach town, and so I'm not going to miss out on eating things. I'm just going to try to not stuff myself.
Well, and there's a difference between having some fried fish versus some sauteed fish. And there's just making good, healthy decisions. And I think you can do that on vacation. And there's things that you can do to stay active, especially if you're staying, like, if you're not at a hotel that has like a workout facility, which with 6 of us at this point, no hotels want us. We basically have to do VRBOs or Airbnbs when we go places, or you have to get a suite.
Or you
Hey, we are always honest with people. Where you say there's 4 of us, and sneak a kid in.
No, I usually say 5 because she really doesn't count yet. I'll say 6 later.
Yeah, but regardless, like, we have to, a lot of times your Airbnbs don't have a workout facility. But the other part of that I wanted to talk about today was if any of you have listened to Zig Ziglar's Born to Win series that they released. I think he did most of them as speaking events. He didn't record them specifically to be released, but it's an Audible download. He talks about it. It's something that hit me because we were preparing. Like I said, you'll probably listen to this while we're on vacation, but we were preparing to get everything ready, and the amount of work that it takes is immense. I mean, Caitlin had clothes spread out all over the bed. I'm like, well, who are those for? And she's like, well, that's just for the kids, and they fill up one large suitcase, and then we try to take some carry-ons, even when we're driving. But it takes a lot of planning. But even on the business side of it, Zig Ziglar talks about what day do you get the most done? And everybody's like, Friday, Monday. And he's like, the day before you go on vacation.
No truer words have ever been spoken.
And he is so true because...
Or 10 minutes before you have an unannounced guest show up.
Yes, that's when you clean your house.
Yeah. You can get more done in those 10 minutes too.
Yeah, and so I was thinking about that. What makes that day so different that you can be so organized, so planned, so focused because you're going to be gone? His point with it is take a time inventory and figure out how you can be that efficient every day.
Right.
But there's things that we do that help us throughout the week that I think that we are fairly efficient, productive members of society. We do more than probably most between. There's things that we could give up, like, family time or business time. I mean, but we don't want to ever diminish from either. And so we work hard to make sure that we have the right amount of time with, we call it balance, even though it's never balanced. It's always balancing. But Caitlin upgraded. We've talked about her whiteboard method. She keeps a dry erase board on her refrigerator and writes on it. She did upgrade that, so I'll let her tell a little bit about it.
Yeah, the whiteboard on our fridge, it's so easy. Like, what an easy concept it is. But until you live that way and live by the whiteboard, you don't get it. Like, you don't get how wonderful it is. And so on that little old whiteboard is my grocery list, and I've talked about this before, just like some things that need to be done today or this weekend or whatever it is. Well, I had been eyeing this organization system, and it's called One, like the number 1, and then Thrive, onethrive.com. And they're pricey. Like, you definitely have to be into organization, and like you definitely want to use it if you're going to buy it. And it takes up some wall real estate in your house too.
It's like 3x3, isn't it?
Maybe, yeah. Maybe 3 feet by 4 feet or something.
Pretty large piece of equipment.
But so the one I ordered has a calendar, and then like a lines that say like S and like Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. And then just a regular section for notes. It has a place to put paperwork and files. It has little hooks on the end, and then it has a little strip of a cork board. So it's like a whole just wall organization system.
I'll drop a picture and link in the show notes as well as our Facebook and everything.
Yeah, it's really neat. But anyway, I don't know, it's just how I have to live. I feel like there's so much going on in my head at any given time that when I write it down, it's like I can dump out that piece of information that's been clogging up my brain space. And so I'll write down on the calendar sort of like
what we practice have, dates.
Yeah, what we have going on, camps. On this month, it's our vacation is blocked off. The girls are going to go to basketball camp. So anyway. And then in the summer, since school's out, we get a sitter. And so it's helpful for everybody in the household, including her, the kids, like everybody can see it. We all know what's going on. But then on the Sunday, Monday, Tuesday lines, that's what we're having for lunch or dinner or both. I'll just do like lunch and then a slash and then dinner. So that's where I meal plan. And then on the blank notes section, I will, whatever. Hey, Monday, take the kids to the splash pad. Tuesday can be peanut butter jelly sandwiches and the pool, or whatever. That doesn't go on the calendar necessarily because it's just going to change. It's fluid more in that note section. But anyway, and then I just still keep our ongoing grocery list on the whiteboard. But for our upcoming trip, I would say typically I try to throw everything together the night before because using your toiletries and all of that kind of thing. Plus, like just making sure that the laundry's done and all that kind of thing. But I think this time I'm going to be ready. Hallelujah, a day early.
Yeah.
At least with the kids stuff. And then on the board, I have kind of a list of everything that we don't want to forget, like floaties and such.
Yeah, no, and you being a planner definitely helps because I've always had the we'll get it at Walmart if we forget something mentality, which is not the right one to have necessarily, but it served me well. But there's a couple things that I like about those that know us know that we're different. I try to zero budget time. She looks at me like I'm crazy when I try to stick to a very structured schedule because she can get stuff in the day without that. I get sidetracked too easy. So I know I have to refocus and readjust. This is one thing that we both do agree on, having a visual in the house, even though that we do our things differently, works very well for both of us. There's a couple other things that she didn't probably mention on there that I think are beneficial from it. Number one is if your meals are planned. That's something I always talk about. It helps you out tremendously with your decision fatigue later. But if the kids see it up there, and 2/3 of our older children can read, they see what we have planned out for the week for dinner. They can get it out of their system saying, I don't like that or I'm not going to eat that prior to us being frustrated at dinner time. And we can plan for that and we can get them mentally prepared for the fact that they're going to eat it. And so I think there's a couple aspects to that are good. And it also having a babysitter, or even if it were me here and you were going to your office and you were leaving me notes, I like to know what you would like me to do with the children. If it's Splashpad and library and the different things.
Kind of takes the guesswork out of it.
Because the days are a lot better when you keep the kids busy.
Oh, and I think anybody can attest to that. I certainly can. I think you can if you're with them. If you're just sitting around the house on any random day, you have all the kids and you're just here with no plan. They get stir crazy.
Yo, and we have a rule about no screen time during the week. Now during summer we can alleviate a little bit of that, but we primarily no iPads. When I say no screen time, I really mean no iPads. We're computers. They can watch TV, probably play a little bit of Nintendo, but for the most part, we want them doing things, being active, being kids. Tonight, I about lost my mind and said, y'all have to go outside. They didn't much today because it was 103 degrees, and it was just one of those brutally hot days already.
Well, we went to church this morning. I mean, we got out.
We got out. It's just they didn't get out. They're like, hey, can I ride my bike? Can I ride my scooter? Can I go run around the neighborhood? Because it's hot.
Yeah.
And so part of me understands that 100%. Like, it's hot. But when it cooled off a little and got into 6 or 7, I was like, y'all got to go in the backyard. Yeah. Y'all got to go get some of this energy out. So that actually helped. They came in and were much better behaved because, I think, and I've told my office employees this all the time, we're all just like houseplants with really complicated emotions. Like, you need some sunshine and you need some water. So if you're in a bad mood, one of the easiest fixes is drink some more water because you're probably dehydrated and go outside.
Yeah.
It's good for you.
The baby likes it. I mean, like walking outside with her.
Oh, she loves being outside.
She loves it. She just loves it. So I think everybody
She loves being on podcasts too. And is there anything else you want to add to that, Caitlin Blair?
No, I think I am excited to go and be gone a little bit with the family. And I think that after, months now of really trying to focus on making, healthy decisions and being active, I feel like I'm in the best shape physically that I've been in in a long time, not counting weight loss or pounds or anything like that. I mean, I've been working really hard to gain endurance, running endurance, and so like right now, I mean, I just worked out earlier tonight, but I just think that carrying on with being active and we've said it before, and that's part of what Live It Full means to me is I don't care necessarily. I mean, everybody does, I guess, but I don't really care necessarily to look a certain way or weigh a certain amount. What I want to do it for is when I get my annual or every other year blood work, I mean, I want it to look good and I want to be healthy for my kids. And whenever we go somewhere, I don't want to say, oh, mommy has to sit out because I can't do that. Or just the physical life, the physical stuff.
I want to be able to climb that mountain, metaphorically and physically.
Yeah.
I want to be able to say, you know what, kids? You want to reach this milestone, and maybe it is physically climbing a mountain. You want to summit a peak somewhere in Colorado or wherever it is? Let's go do it, and I want to be able to do it.
Yeah. I mean, I want to be healthy, and that's more really mentally and on the inside of my body than the outside. I don't want plaque and who knows what in my arteries. I want to be healthy for as long as I can be.
100%. And that's what it's about. That's what Live It Full is about, is embracing life and enjoying everything, but in a manner that you can live it a long time too. And we don't know. We could both be gone tomorrow, but if we were, we know that we did it our way and we lived it full. And I think that's a great spot to end today. We're right at that 26-minute mark where we're running up against your commute, and we want you to be able to listen to all this in 1 or 2 sittings. So we appreciate you. Leave us a 5-star review. Subscribe if you haven't. Share us with your friends and family. If there's anybody out there that you think could benefit from this, please, please, please share it with them. Keep the direct messages coming to us. We do appreciate when we get it, feedback saying we have appreciated what you've said or what you've done or this helped me, because that's what we're doing it for. As much as we get out of it, we hope that you get some as well, and we hope that you continue to live it full.